What's going on, folks? This is Colion Noir, and thanks for joining us for another episode of Seeing Live. And our guest today includes the widow of American sniper Taya Kyle, who's becoming a really impressive shooter in her own right. But first, we're going to talk with NFL Pro Bowler and former New England Patriot Matt Light. What's going on, Matt? You there?
Yeah, I am. I guess I'm better at running into people than I am at getting a computer to work. So I can see you. You can't see me, but I am with you, my man.
No, that's perfectly fine. Trust me, man. I tippy-toed through holes when I play football, so you know we're all good at something and bad at others, right? So what's going on, man?
Man, it's been a wild week. Where this Super Bowl thing, it always changes a little bit year to year, and no matter how many times you've been there or, what you think you know about this game, it's amazing how much bigger it gets the closer you get to it. And, man, it's exciting so far to see, what's happened, with these two teams and the talk and the build up to it. And I'm getting ready to head down to Houston tomorrow, so it'll only get bigger and better from here.
Dude, I'm a little jealous of you because I had plans to head down to Houston. Not necessarily for the game in some sorts, but I had plans to go out there. I had a friend of mine who decided to rent out his place for the Super Bowl weekend, and needless to say, the hotel prices out there are obscene.
Yeah, well, you got to love him. I mean, he's probably making as much in a very short period of time here over this Super Bowl week as he would for the entire year of renting it. But yeah. It's going to be chaos down there, and it's going to be a heck of a game too. I played 11 seasons. Here in New England, and learned a lot from the coaching staff and these experiences and playing in these kind of games. And I look at these guys and what they did this season, and really what got them to where they are today. There's no substitute for hard work and all that stuff. But man, it's just awesome to see it, the beast and the machine that is Bill Belichick and his system continue to roll. These guys have earned the right to be where they are, and Atlanta. Yeah, they've done the same thing, man. They put a lot of hard work in this year and had a great season.
Well, I mean, I'm out here in Dallas. There are a lot of pissed off people, people who are still currently pissed off. You walk around, there's this energy of just anger from a lot of people. But no, Atlanta definitely surprised a lot of people in that regard.
I think everybody wanted to see that matchup too between the Patriots and Dallas and what they represented this season. And I grew up in Ohio, and I got to watch, a lot of what Ohio State has done over the years, of course, even though I was a Purdue guy. I had to suffer through all my friends and family that have always been on the Ohio State bandwagon. And to see, what a product from Ohio has done to help re-energize Dallas and that market. And, yep. I mean, he's made such a big impact, and Dak as well. I mean, they have such great talent and young guys. I am kind of shocked that they're not in this game.
Hey, you and a lot of other people, trust me. That's for damn sure. But yeah, no, like you're saying too as well. I mean, Houston is going to be bonkers for the most part. Traffic is already bad in Houston on a Sunday afternoon, so I can only imagine what it's going to look like now.
Well, yeah, I can remember playing there in a Super Bowl many moons ago. And it was bad back then. I mean, it'd take you 2 hours to get from one side to the other.
Yep.
But the last time I was there for a Super Bowl, we had a great outcome. So I'm looking forward to more of the same.
Absolutely. So how did you get into football initially?
So I grew up, like I said, in Ohio, a small farming community around the Indiana border, and I think honestly it was just a way for my mom and dad to just get me out of the house, or like go do something. Get the heck out of the kitchen, stop eating all my food. And, I didn't, look, my father grew up with polio, so I didn't come from a household to watch football. Yeah. As a matter of fact, the first time I saw a college game, I was playing in it. The first time I saw a professional game, I was playing in it. So it was just something that I loved to do. I enjoyed being around the guys in the team. I enjoyed the camaraderie. I loved hitting people. I loved fighting, to be honest with you. And I never went to jail for it. So, it served me pretty well in my younger days, although I had a few run-ins here and there. But for the most part, I was a fairly decent kid because I got most of my frustrations out in the field. And then it just blossomed from there, man. I mean, started getting some calls, and, the rest of that train, once you hit college and you start seeing, what it takes to play at that level, it's you either make it or you don't, right? And you know, for me, it's just been a great ride ever since.
I'll never forget in high school when I was a running back. I think I was on JV, and then they moved me up to varsity. I hated guys like you because you thoroughly enjoyed hitting people. And I'll never forget. There was one play that made me realize that football was not for me. It was a sweep left option, and last second, quarterback tosses me the ball. I'm like, oh no, this is going to be bad. So I'm looking up in the sky. I'm reaching for the ball. Next thing I know, I'm under the other side's bleachers. And at that point, I realized, I'm not cut for this. And it was guys like you who just enjoyed knocking people on their ass. That really just, I hated you guys. But nonetheless, what were some of your personal highlights from the Super Bowl?
You know, man, I tell you, for me, it was just always my friends and my family. You know, it was a chance for all those people that had supported me throughout my career and had been there for me and had really encouraged me and, you know, had done something in my life that really impacted me. It was a way for them to be along for the ride. And, you know, when you're, especially in a league, especially in a Bill Belichick system, you don't get too many moments to sit back and be like, man, this is awesome. Because typically you walk in and we called them low light Mondays, right? Like we didn't have highlight films. I mean, we had like, if you do this again, even though you won 40-0, we're going to get killed. You know, it's like, really, coach? You know, throw me a bone. So by the time it got to the Super Bowl, you know, I just remember, you know, and some of the big moments leading up to those Super Bowl games. You know, you think about the Tuck rule and the Oakland game in New England when it was snowing. The ball gets, you know, knocked out of Tommy's hands. We think the game's over. End up, you know, getting the ball back and going down and scoring and going to the Super Bowl that year, that New Orleans Super Bowl just after 9/11. You know, and just how the country rallied behind, I think, the Patriot name as much as our team and everything else. And, you know, I've been fortunate, man. I mean, I've been able to play a game that I love to play. Was paid to do it, right? To go out and have fun. And to me, you know, now looking back on it, being 5 years removed, it's really about, you know, what can I do? What's the next great thing that I can, you know, bury myself into? And, you know, I watch a lot of what you represent and the things that you're passionate about and the things that you stand for. And I don't know if it happened for you, but for me, it was definitely around the time I was getting ready to retire. I told myself, you know, whatever your legacy is, whatever that is that you leave, you know, you got to work at that for the rest of your life. And even though I retired from football at age 33, 34, right? I knew that I wanted to do something to create a lasting legacy. And so whether it was my foundation or getting involved in politics and standing up and speaking my mind and standing up for what's right in this country to, you know, counteract a lot of the ignorance and the fear. You know, ignorance and fear leads to a lot of craziness, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you know that. And so, man, I've enjoyed the heck out of my last 5 years and jumping on board a lot of great causes, my own foundation, other people's, you know, efforts. And it's been incredible, man. It's been a heck of a ride.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely is something that for me, it snuck up on me a little bit. And to this day, it still feels a bit foreign. Because you're right. I'm at a point now where it's me kind of engaging in what is to be my legacy, and you know, you sometimes passions fall out of the sky, sometimes they're forged in fire, but nonetheless, you know, with what you're doing with your foundation, which I kind of want to get into when we come back from break, I think those are the most important components or the most important aspects of our lives that we don't necessarily realize until later on.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, I think, you know, for me, when I first got in the league, I was just trying to figure out if the ball was pumped or stuffed. You know, I had no idea what the heck I was doing. I honestly felt like, you know, they made a massive mistake. Like, these fools actually hired me to come in here and play this position. And then once you settle into, you know, that role or whatever that part of your life is, and you get it some time to kind of reflect, man, that's when it starts to hit you. And I think that's for a lot of people in their 30s, you know, they break out of that. I'm no longer at home. I'm on my own. I know who I am, and here's what I want to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Really quickly before we take our first break, how did you initially get into shooting?
Man, I grew up in a family of shooters, and I have a grandfather, great grandfather. They were in the Outdoor Writers Association, and man, I'll tell you, everything in my life revolved around the outdoors from the
Wow.
minute I came on the scene. So I have family and friends to thank for that, and man, it was a true blessing because that's what we need more of, especially in today's world where the thumbs get more of a workout than the mind does with all these kids and
Yep.
this, that, and the other. You know what it is.
Oh
And I
man.
tell you, the outdoors is a saving grace for a lot of young people.
Man, I don't I know it. Like I would tell people, I tell the story all the time. People who follow me are probably sick of hearing it. I hated the outdoors growing up. Wanted nothing to do with it, and it was a gun that got me into it. That really got me to appreciate nature and being out there. And I'm forever thankful for that because I tell you what, I would have lived and died a concrete jungle rat and been just perfectly fine. But there's something to be said about being able to connect with the world around you that you can't do in the mean streets of the city.
And if you, by the way, you've never heard a person walk outside, take a deep breath, and go, "Man, that sucks." You know what I mean? That doesn't happen, man. You've never seen that. That's a truth. That's 100%.
That is so true. It's right. You're right. I'm not. Yeah. I wish I can contest that, but I can't. You're totally right. Yeah. But so let's hit our first break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about your foundation, and let's talk some more guns.
Sounds good.